Hello. When you see the animals living this way, it dictates the way you are going to approach your cooking. It's a storm coming, and I think we're gonna have to go back and drink and eat. Beautiful. They are absolutely gorgeous. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
You want to lick your fingers, really. You don't want to lose any drop of it. We're gonna release the dogs? Hunting wild boar is hardcore. It's rough, and we saw the wild boar a couple of times passing by. I hope they're gonna get him. And of course, we're gonna cook him and eat him with a lot of wine. It's fantastic. I'm thankful to what life brings to me. It's always about celebrating, respecting the world where we are today. On today's show, we are going to learn about tradition and find inspiration from the past. We'll visit Stone Barns, a sustainable farm just outside New York City. There, we will focus on the ingredients the farm provides. We'll end up in my home kitchen, loaded with inspiration, and I'll share with you my favorite chicken recipe. Every afternoon, around this table, the sous chefs and myself, we share our dinner together. And very often we cook some food coming from other countries, other cultures, even other eras. I like to share with my sous chefs the importance of yesterday's wisdom. Do you smell it? All the brandy is coming like. Here we are preparing my grandma's capon recipe. Something like just a tiny bit of butter and foie gras. We study classic cooking only so that we can move it forward in our own way. The brandy brings some punch. That's good. Very good. The focus on traditional techniques is vital to a chef to find his own voice. We then have a family meal and talk about the dish, its origin and ingredients, and enjoy what food always provides: community. You know, it's a festive dish. You will eat that for Christmas, or you will eat that for special holidays, or sometimes like Mother's Day or Big Sunday. That's very traditional in France. Now let's go. Huh? Let's go cook. There's another community located just 30 miles north of New York, where one person borrowed from the past. My good friend Dan Barber, executive chef and co-owner of Blue Hill and Stone Barns, a fully functional and sustainable farm. Stone Barns is about reconnecting with the flavors produced by the traditional farming methods used here. Respecting the ingredients, the land, and letting the food speak for itself.
Welcome to Stone Barns. Nice to have you, huh?
Good to see you too.
Great.
Wow, what a place.
Yeah, this is exciting to have you here, huh?
I mean, how big is the property here?
This is 80 acres.
80 acres?
Yeah. Maybe about 20 acres of pasture, about 10 acres altogether of vegetables, and the rest is forest where the pigs are. These are Berkshires.
Berkshire. Oh,
yeah,
okay. They look like
100% Berkshires. These are the older breeds, and they don't do very well in a confinement situation indoors. You know, they're very social animals, and they eat more, they're happier, they're less stressed in an environment like this, which is their natural environment. So it makes sense.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I always thought also that if the cook is happy, the food will be better. They're adorable, those babies.
So they'll stay with their mothers until they're able to eat grain, and then they'll join this rotation in the woods.
So do you move the camp, basically?
Often, very often.
They move all the time, like gypsies. Hello. If you adjust, okay, take it easy.
They're excited to move because they know they're going on to better territory,
Yes.
better vegetation, better diet, and in the end, better flavor for us. It's the husbandry of that, the animal husbandry, the movement and the care of the land that ends up, I think, producing the best flavor.
That way of farming, did you discover that? Did you create that?
I have nothing to do with
it existed in the past and we kind of forgot about it or lost the idea of doing that?
Yeah, I didn't discover anything. I've been just learning about this, but it's really the natural system. I mean, we're about to look at, for example, sheep get their choice of grass. And then we're about to see how we take the egg layers, the chickens, come in, and they take the grasses that the sheep didn't take, and they break up the manure. And they follow the sheep in a natural system. But if you think about nature, the herbivores, the cattle, would come into an open pasture, they would get the grass, they would leave, and the birds would come in. So we're mimicking exactly what's happening in nature, but controlling it. The other ultimate goal is to improve your landscape, because in the desire to improve the landscape, you're improving what's on the plate. Let's take a look at some sheep.
Sure, let's go see the sheep.
What I wanted you to start seeing was the beginning of the rotation. If we can imagine that these sheep get the choicest grass. They get, they're the pickiest, and their diet, because they eat only grass, they get no grain. They're herbivores. So they don't get 1 ounce of grain. So these animals are moved almost every day. In the springtime, they're sometimes moved twice a day in these paddocks, because the grass is growing so fast and it's so lush that we want the sheep on the best grasses very quickly. So they'll go in here and they'll bite. And they'll be very happy, and they'll move on, they'll look for the next bite and the next bite.
They're not gonna cut it too close.
They're not gonna cut it too close, but they'll take what they want. And if we don't move them, the next thing they do, they'll go back. They have a taste memory. And they'll go back to the bite that they knew was so delicious. And that's a big, big problem, because now they take the second bite.
And then they go to the roots.
And then they go closer to the roots. The bite isn't as nutritious. It's not as flavorful for us when it comes in the kitchen.
Yes.
And it degrades the grass instead of improves the grass. It's the idea that you have to keep them moving, you have to keep them on the freshest grass.
Time.
And if you do that, they'll not just be very happy and very healthy. You don't need antibiotics. There's no steroids, no antibiotics
Nothing.
here.
They're
Nothing.
Fine.
They're fine. They're vibrant and healthy, but you have to give them the feed that they want. Show you some chickens.
Sure, let's go see the chicken. I hear them from here.
Yeah. These are the roasting chickens, the broilers. We call them broilers, but they're the chickens that come to us for roasting. The diet is the grain that they're getting, but they also have a diet of the grass and the manure from the sheep that they're following. The sheep were here last week, so they're spreading that, and they're also eating the grubs, eating the grass. You can see this is nice grass that they're about to go on tomorrow.
Yes.
And this is the grass that they were on yesterday.
And there's a lot of chicken here.
A lot of chicken, but it has nitrogen.
Yes.
And it's not too concentrated, so that it becomes a nutrient for the grass.
For the grass.
So the next time we come down this rotation, they'll have more to eat and better grass. We're gonna go follow her to the laying hens. Watch your step here.
Okay, here too. So you call that the egg mobile?
The design is our own design,
See, I call them egg hotels because they're luxury living in there.
Again, you move them
every 2 days.
In the field, every 2 days you move the egg mobile and the chicken. Everybody's out.
Yes. Their wild ancestors would be sleeping up in trees at night, so these chickens want to be up off the ground when they sleep, so they naturally all climb
so
up
they all go inside?
Yep. You come out here at sunset and they're all making their way up the ramp. They find
It's amazing. Right as the sun is setting, there's a lineup to go into the hotel.
So it's really like an hotel, yeah.
There's really nothing to them. It's just the roost, which is the wooden part,
yeah.
And their nesting boxes are hung against that wall. See,
hey, come on. You have one here, two. Did they let you take them, right? They're not.
Sometimes they'll throw one up there. Sometimes they'll peck at you a little bit, but it's only a chicken.
I'm a bit distracted by this chicken, but
this is farm life imitating real life. All the ladies are attracted to the French chef.
When you crack one of these eggs open, there are two things that you'll always notice. One is that the yolk will be a bright yellowish orange, just bright color. And the other is that the thick part of the white will stand up. It'll stay close to the yolk and stand up kind of like a pancake.
The bright orange yellow that you see in that yolk. What do you attribute that to?
I think it's just the grass. I mean, it's
Oh, the
all a
grass?
natural coloring. Yep.
The list of ingredients at the table. So you sit down and
you know you're going to eat that ingredient or that one, but
yeah, you don't know how. Hello. Say hello to Eric, Ripert.
Hi, Shannon.
Now, how many different varieties of salad greens are you growing?
Oh, we have it was chicory family. The chicory family, we have at least 10.
We've recognized, and probably farmers knew a lot earlier than I discovered, is that the cold, especially for what they're growing, only adds to the flavor. The best time of year to eat in the restaurant when it comes to salad greens especially, and root vegetables, is in the winter. Is going into the cold time, because
So you mean you can basically taste the cold?
Absolutely.
There's no question about it.
Oh, I see one here, actually, look.
No, you got to get a fresh one.
This one is not.
We got really crazy with the bricks. We were testing everything. Jack came running in the kitchen. It's like 13.8. That means 13.8% of this thing is sugar.
It's sugar, yes.
Right?
Yes,
so we went, just to get a comparison, right, we went to a walk-in. We grabbed a carrot for stock, a horse carrot, you know, to the chicken stock. Squeezed it, tested it, 0.0.
Really?
For bricks. 0.0.
So it's a huge difference. I haven't tested a carrot like that in the longest time, unfortunately for myself. This is incredible. What I like very much about what you say is that a carrot is not the same in September and in December and in March. Therefore, it totally explains why following recipes 100% doesn't guarantee
That's right.
a success.
But go in the middle and take some of that.
Yeah. Into the heart of it all. So there's really...
Well, you don't
To me,
compare.
this is just...
I mean,
It's got the bitterness too.
a tiny bit.
Right, the complexity.
So of course in October, what we want to make sure is that we're getting things so specifically seeded that we are able to harvest things for you in February.
Who is the chef and who's the farmer here? Because they're deciding what's going on the menu in the most literal way.
Do you have bees too in the property?
Yeah, 600,000 bees now. So we do.
So you have your own honey.
We do honey each month. Enough that we sell a little bit in the cafe, and we use a lot in the kitchen. From now until the spring, they really sit still, so they don't have to use any energy because they're living off of their honey. So we stop taking honey at this point.
So you stop taking honey for the winter.
I think it's a good temperature for what's happening on the whole farm. If the bees are healthy, it's a sign that the system's working.
It's working.
Yeah. January, February, March, we do buy like pineapples and mango, and we get stuff because I don't want to be crazy about it. There's some great stuff out there.
When you test the product, when you see the animals living this way, it dictates the way you are going to approach your cooking. So today, testing those ingredients, which were absolutely incredible in terms of textures and flavors, suddenly I'm like, well, I cannot cook that ingredient the same way than before because I have to protect and preserve the qualities of that specific ingredient. And I think Dan is doing that, is influenced by the incredible quality and by the incredible connection that he has with nature and towards the ingredient that he's cooking.
In the dining room, we serve this like a steak, like a lettuce steak, just to show off, like having the salad, a different experience of salad, having a different experience of lettuce.
The flavor has changed too. From raw in a garden, it has become like almost like buttery.
Buttery, yeah.
It's totally changed.
Yeah.
You just have to think out of the box. You're not using the classic techniques necessarily, but you get inspired with it, and then you enhance the quality of the vegetable itself. Yeah. I mean, have you been trained classically, or you were trained in a more modern way?
I was trained by you. I've been watching you for years. The same thing you do with fish at your restaurant is what we're trying to do here. We don't do it with fish. Fish is not the concentration here, but we're the same kind of thing. Okay, so the lamb neck. This is braised at a very low temperature.
It's amazing. It looks like bacon.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And that's on grass. And this is all grass.
Well, it's really good, especially with the caramelization again.
Yeah.
And it's something like you wouldn't find everywhere. I have never tasted lamb neck before, but this is a genius way of preparing it.
Oh, thank you.
It's really.
Well, thank you for inspiring us.
I'm having your piece.
Yeah. You could do this technique in a pot of water at a very low temperature.
At 62.5
Yeah, if you have
Celsius,
a thermometer, it'd be better.
Which is what in terms of
about
Fahrenheit?
143 degrees, 144 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah.
I have never seen that technique. And then it just, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I think there's enough of the white that's coagulated that it holds the yolk.
I have never seen an egg like that. I guess you can do that, this kind of cooking only when you have like super fresh eggs.
Super fresh eggs, otherwise it's not going to stand up.
I really love the consistency of it. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
Look at the color. Whoa. But an egg, I mean, something like that is just incredible. Oops. You want to lick your fingers, really. You don't want to lose any drop of it. Is it possible to find an egg which is similar to that?
Increasingly, yes.
Increasingly,
and I think
yes.
the thing to look for is not organic egg, but pastured egg. It's the label that says pasture is what you want. That's where you're going to get the yellow.
Pasture eggs.
Because organic, you'll never get that yellow if it's done industrially. If it's done on grass, you have the shot at it. That's why grass agriculture is the future, I think.
Organic doesn't mean that you're not in a cage.
Exactly.
Organic means...
If it has pasture, it means that it's a better way of life.
It's a fantastic adventure you're having here.
Well, thank you for sharing it. It's
thank you for sharing. You sharing it, not me.
It's been an honor to be with you.
Thank you, Dan. Now, let's take all that inspiration and bring it back to my kitchen. If you like chicken, you're in for a treat.
Today we are going to roast a chicken. We are going to pay homage to my grandma, Emilienne, who was cooking during the week this chicken with some bread, lemon, garlic, and she was making a very simple salad, but delicious salad. So we are going to start by creating the stuffing for the chicken. She always was using a little bit of old bread, and we are going to mix it with some olive oil. That will create moisture and keep the chicken very tender. I'm going to grate a little bit of lemon, the yellow part of the skin. We are going to add olive oil, and I'm putting a lot of it. We will chop the garlic or cut it very thinly. We are going to chop the parsley, and I'm removing the leaves from the stem. I'm going to slice the parsley very thinly. And the bread has drunk a lot of the olive oil already, so it's starting to be moist. We are going to remove the chicken wings. I'm going to season the chicken, put some salt, pepper outside and inside the cavity. Now we can stuff it. I'm going to press a little bit to make sure that all of the bread is going inside. It's going to give a nice shape also to the chicken. We're going to have to tie the chicken in a very simple way. Go underneath here and give a nice shape, separating the legs from the breast, like that. And then in one movement, bring the legs together, kind of give a nice shape. You see the chicken has the breast very plumpy, the legs nicely separated. It also helps to cook the chicken. And we're going to cook it with a little bit of oil on top, and the oil will help to give some nice color. The chicken is going to the oven, 400 degrees oven for about 20 minutes, and then we will check how the color is coming on top of the chicken and adjust the temperature. While the chicken is roasting, I'm going to prepare a garlic vinaigrette that my grandmother was making. So at home, it was really an adventure. My grandfather will go to the garden, go pick the lettuce, and she will do the vinaigrette. And I would like to show you the way she was doing. It was nothing like a professional chef. She will take the garlic, and then she will cut it like that, she will take really her time to do it and let the garlic fall in the bowl. Then she will take the vinegar, like that. She will call it at bisto de nase, which in Provençal means using your good judgment, using your nose. Then instead of using a whisk, she will use a fork. She will put some salt. And of course, memories come back at me now by doing the recipe. Beautiful memories of being in the kitchen. She will add some mustard in a vinaigrette, and then, again, very slowly integrate the mustard with the garlic. And then we will use some very good olive oil and incorporate the olive oil slowly. And for some reason, by doing it with the fork and stirring it up like that, it will work. The oil will emulsify. I'm going to use some romaine. And I love this part in a romaine because it's very crunchy, it brings a lot of texture. I'm going to cut part of an onion. When I make a salad, I like to have the onion because of that sugar content. Let's see if the chicken is cooked. You take a fork and you make a hole in the leg and you wait for the juice to come out. If the juice is translucid, the chicken is cooked. On the cutting board, we are going to cut the chicken, and the leg, especially if the chicken is cooked properly, will come very easily. Now we have the breast, and I'm going to follow this line here with a knife and find the joint here. I'm going to remove the stuffing, and you see the bread is very, very moist now. I'm going to plate one of the breast. I'm going to slice it like that, not too thin because I want to keep the consistency of the chicken. Actually, a bit more. Put some pepper, a little bit of salt. When you make a vinaigrette, you don't want the vinaigrette to be over salty, so you keep the seasoning in balance, and then by adding salt and pepper to your salad, you're really seasoning every leaf precisely. I'm even gonna drizzle a little bit of the fat from the chicken, just a tiny bit like that, and bring some extra flavor. It's such a simple but perfect dish. The crunch of the salad with the flavors and the softness of the bread, complementing really the flesh of the chicken. The skin is crunchy. The white part of the meat is really plumpy and juicy. So those three elements really work in harmony here. This is a very simple but delicious dish. Santé. Cook from life.
To quit your job and live the life you've always dreamed of?
You're really living the dream, I would imagine, the expat dream.
I feel more free here than I do in the States.
This is it, man. Yeah. This is the life.
Join me, Savannah Jane Buffett, as I follow two buddies from college who quit their grueling office jobs and moved down to St. John to be bartenders in paradise. Now they're not just serving drinks, they've created the #1 microbrew in the Caribbean.
I looked out and there was about 30 cubicles. And at that moment, I said, I can't.
I knew I wanted to roll the dice and that I wanted to take a break from what I was doing. Nice place to live, don't you think?
Not bad.
It was a very surreal feeling because this was all new to me. This was going to be my new home. At that point, we knew we were all in.
They're the lucky guys, and they make beer for a living on an island.
It's just two guys hanging out in the Caribbean and brewing some great beer and, you know, living the dream, I guess.